Let's look at another test that demonstrates the way to check the input to the gap generator. I'll set the magnification to 125. Okay, and you can see here we're in neutralization only again, checking DC in, DC out. The input volts and amps are measured coil side of the relay, and we have 99.61 watts over unity. And here we have the maximum amps input on the first half of the cycle is 8. And the average input on the input of the first half of the cycle is 4.9. Now the maximum amps input for the second half of the cycle is 9.2. And the average input for the second half of the cycle is 4.5. And remember, in neutralization mode, I'm only applying power for the first half of the cycle. So let's take a look at the scope. Okay, now just like the other test, here is the input volts. Here's the input amps. Output volts here in purple, and the green is the output amps. Now let me just show one cycle here. And like in the preceding test, the cycle stops at 30 milliseconds. So this is set to 10 milliseconds for each square. So we're looking, it starts right here. So 10, 20, 30. Right here's where the first half of the cycle ends. So this input in the last half of the cycle and the input of the amps for the last half of the cycle, like I said in the other test, I believe is coming from the back EMF from the coil and the magnetic action of the magnetism moving back and forth to and from the coil. Now, we're going to look at the test results with the last half of the input removed. We'll go to 125. Magnification. Okay, now right here I have this last half of input removed. And now keep in mind, all these tests will run on a 7.5 amp fast acting fuse. So I removed the last half of the input. Now our watts over unity is 152.9. And like I did before, I'll show where how I came to that, how I removed that data from the last half of the cycle. Okay, here we are at the start of the cycle. We'll move this over here a little bit. That's 0, and we'll just go on down to 30 milliseconds, and right there it is, 30 milliseconds, half of the cycle, and you can see the next reading below that. So I inserted 0 voltage input and 0 amps input. And I just continued that right on down to the end of the cycle, which is at 60 milliseconds. Right here. And that's how that all took place.